Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this week's workshop, trading workshop. Thank you for all of you that are attending today. We're gonna wait a couple of minutes until more people come in, and while we do that, I will introduce myself. What are we gonna do today here? And hopefully we can start in around 10 minutes. So a quick introduction. I'm Carolina. My name is Carolina. I'm an account manager here at XTB. And basically, what we're going to do today is a live trading workshop, which is divided in two parts. So at first, we're going to have Walid, which is the market analyst here at XTB. He will do a bit of technical analysis in live charts, as well as run us through what's going on right now in the markets. And then the second part will be a Q&A live session with me and with the help of Wallet, and I will try to answer to all of your questions the best that I can. And yeah, that will be basically the layout. And yeah, let's see. We have six people now. We're gonna wait a bit longer so that we gather as many people as we can. But yes. Thank you everyone that is attending. 6 people is a good number. Okay. Okay. So yeah, remember that while Wallet is doing his analysis, you can start thinking about your questions and then pop in the questions in the second half of the workshop and you will get your answers resolved. So yeah. Okay, we are at 9 people. Let's see. Okay, we have 10 people, which is a good number. So let's wait for Wally to come in and our market analyst.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Thank you for having me. Hi, Carolina. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who's watching. Um, I, I'm very happy to be here once again. We've been doing these every week, these events where we try to keep you up to date with the markets, see what's happening, answer your questions. If you have any questions regarding the markets, anything we talk about today, or any other markets you may be following. Let's do a quick audio video check if everybody can hear me and see the screen as well. The charts on the screen. So also, yeah, if we have any questions before we start, we can take a couple of those, and then as we wait for a couple more people to join, and then we can start. There's a few things happening in the markets this week, some key moves, some key events as well tomorrow. So definitely a few things to talk about. And it's going to be an interesting rest of the week and an interesting session today to talk about quite a few things. So if you have any questions before we start, please feel free to ask them, whether to me or to Carolina, and then we can get started.
So there's a bit of a delay in your questions, but I'll try my best. I have here one from Luai Diab. Thank you for your question. Hello, Carolina. Can I ask you a question before the session starts? You can go ahead and ask it, and we can see what's the best answer. So hopefully. Okay. Walid, are we answering questions to do with documentation for applications?
I would say for something like that, probably it's best to contact an account, like your specific account manager or support services, which will have the most information regarding your query. So as soon as you contact support, you'll be able to get exactly the answer you're looking for, whether it's sometimes it might be a slightly different documentation, sometimes a slightly different picture. So it really varies from situation to situation. It's very difficult to give an overview right now. So definitely you'll be helped if you just asked support. They'll be able to help you with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You probably have been contacted by a person, account manager at XTB already. If not, customer support, as well it said. And yeah, they will be able to answer your question regarding your ID and the country that it comes from. So.
Okay, I think we can also, since there's no more further questions before we start, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. We'll try to get to them all in the Q&A section towards the end. I'm just going to go over a brief overview of some markets, some charts, and then if you see anything that is interesting to you, or if anything that you have in mind, please feel free to ask the questions. This is about engagement. So let's start with some charts. So as you can see on my screen, hopefully you'll be able to see the chart screen with the sentiment section as well. So let's start with indices. Interesting week for indices, starting the week very, very badly. Obviously, we saw this huge drop, sell-off. This was kind of brought off by the negative sentiment from the corona cases rising. That's adding some pressure to markets, as well as some other potential actually optimism, which is leading to the idea that central banks might change their decisions. So it's a very interesting situation happening where we have pressure on both sides to indices and as well as gold from the fact that on one side, there's a risk of the economy not reopening as fast, but on the other side, the economy reopening faster can add pressure to markets because they're benefiting a lot from the current situation with central banks. So to that point, we actually have tomorrow's central bank decisions from the European Central Bank. So definitely worth following if you trade any EU index or euro or any euro pair, of course, because it's expected that they won't change the interest rates, but there's definitely going to be some interesting information as to what they're going to be moving forward with. So that could be having an impact on the indices moving forward later in the week. But we can see, going back to this, the DAX dropping to 15,032 points, dropping below some very important levels you can see here in the past that we've talked about. And if you follow the WhatsApp, if you're in the WhatsApp group, you would have received the message when we were talking about this with the cross of the moving averages, the EMA and the SMA, the blue line and the yellow line, and a short-term reversal now gaining 2.75%, trading around 15,400 points. And you can see that if we just draw a horizontal line here, you can see that it's around this area and this area once again. So again, important area as well for the DAX at the moment. When it comes to the S&P, similar situation, although a little bit, you can see the move was a little bit bigger, but still now once again approaching its all-time high. We can see this area acted as a support in the past, 4,350, and this upward move is heading towards this previous resistance. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not it can break through or not. But we are very close to the all-time high. Obviously, it did seem like the downward move was quite significant, but we have seen quite almost a V-shaped recovery with some horizontal moves here. Volatility, of course, really rising towards the end or towards the beginning of this week, and you can see falling later on, but definitely a lot of moves in the markets at the beginning of this week and probably heading into the later part of the week. With the US Tech Index, NASDAQ, you can see also similar situation to the S&P, close to its all-time high. And for those of you trading US indices, earnings season is continuing, so definitely some major companies to keep an eye on, and you can find all of that in the news section of the platform. On the economic calendar, we have, you can see all the top earning releases. Today we have Coca-Cola before market open, Johnson & Johnson, Verizon, Harley Davidson, and every day you'll receive this update as well of what key earnings are being reported that day. So that could be having an impact on the US indices as well as the dollar. So if we actually do take a look at some commodities, gold has had a very interesting week because while indices have been pulling back, gold did not benefit that much, even though it managed to remain around above 1800, currently testing that level. So we've seen this area around 1800 act as a support several times, dropping as low as 1795. Once again, going to be interesting. The price did break below the Ichimoku cloud, which, I mean, is an indicator that is subjective, but I tend to like the way it sets up sometimes. Besides that, oil prices, which there was a lot of news in oil. You can see these huge moves on oil. Actually, this is on the 1 hour chart, so this is mostly today. You can see over 5% increase in oil prices. We did have the unexpected inventory report. You can see that here, unexpectedly rising actually, but there was an agreement of OPEC cuts reached, so that was actually affecting positively the oil price as well. So once again, there's a lot of factors playing into all of these commodities and indices, but it's very interesting to see how we are seeing a lot of movement on these markets, which had been traditionally, let's say, moving in one direction or the other. And then finally, let's take a look at some currencies here on the market analysis section of the platform. You can see USD, finally not the best performing currency. Euro, similar mixed situation. Pound actually doing very well. Canadian dollar doing very well. New Zealand dollar also performing strongly. Pound USD, so if we go and take a look at the pairs, we can see that Pound USD recovering. So after this huge drop, once again, reaching the lowest level in several months. And you can see here, we have to scroll back quite a long time to basically February or January. Yeah, February of this year. You can see that. Now is attempting to recover back above 136, heading for 137. So you can see that is around here. Going to be a key level. These areas are psychological levels, as they're called, tend to be quite important sometimes. While Euro USD, with the USD index, you can see USD index pulling back, with Euro USD heading once again for 118. But again, it remains to be seen how this situation is going to play out heading towards the rest of the week, especially with tomorrow's European Central Bank decision. So that's that for the recap that I wanted to do. I guess it was a general overview of the markets, but if you have any other questions regarding any other markets we didn't talk about or some of the ones we did, please let me know and I'll be happy to answer any of them.
That was great.
Okay.
Great rundown. So should we open it to questions then?
Yeah, absolutely. We can start with questions and answers. So
perfect. So I have one here, which is directed at you. Thank you for your question from Sham Dinam Homet. I hope I'm saying your name right. Hi, is there a chance later would you be able to explain the Ichimoni cloud, which you just mentioned, and which TFS you should use? So yeah, that goes for you, Walid.
Okay. So basically, the Ichimoku cloud is a set of is an indicator that you can use on the platform, obviously, with just by adding it on the left-hand side, and it is a set made up of a set of moving averages, all of different periods, and so an example of it would be here. So Ichimoku, in the sense of Ichimoku cloud, means that it's supposed to be seen at first sight. So why is it called Ichimoku? Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, it means at first glance or at first sight. So you should be able to see just on first sight when you're looking at the chart which way the price is heading. Traditionally, you would interpret it as if the price of whatever, or the index, let's say, although I do prefer it on commodities, the price is above, the trend is upwards. If the price is below, the trend is downwards. So that's the basic interpretation. You can also use it as potential support and resistances, which I tend to do sometimes. So you can see that sometimes the price tends to really hover and act. You can see here the price attempting to move up, testing this area several times, and then pulling back, breaking through it, breaking back below, testing it some more. So I tend to use it like that. I don't tend to use it as confirmation of, let's say, a trend. I do like to use it as a potential support resistance area, which is interesting because the most basic, or one of the most basic support and resistance methods or identification would be moving averages. So this is nothing more. As to time frame, it really does it does depend, but do compare them to each other, and also do compare them to the same time frame over a period of time. So if you're comparing, say, let's say I have the 1 hour chart on gold today, and I make my analysis on this, then in 3 days I can't compare it to the 4 hour chart on the Ichimoku, because as I'll show you. So let's say here the price is below the Ichimoku cloud on the 1 hour, which is why it's important to specify the time frames of what you're using when it comes to indicators. So if I say I'm on 1 hour and it's below, and this is acting as a resistance, then maybe let's say I go on the 4 hour. Now the price just broke below. So this was acting as a support in the past, potentially, you can see. So it does change from time frame to time frame. it could mean different things, but also your trading changes time frame to time frame. So that makes sense. So if you're trading on a longer time frame, you want to use it maybe on the longer time frame. If you want to trade on the shorter time frame, you can use both. Although we had a question last week about time frames, I think it's important to just analyze as many as you can, maybe 3. So 1 hour, 4 hour, and a daily or something like that, and then make your analysis based on that. So hopefully that answers your question in a longer way.
Okay, that's good. Something else to add to time frames? Would you start with a bigger time frame or the minute one? What is your approach to that?
I would start with if I'm trading on a day-to-day basis. Let's say I want to open multiple trades in one day. So let's say if I'm trading, if I want to open a trade a week, then I'm probably going to look at the daily, weekly time frame. If I want to trade once a day, then I'm probably going to look at the hourly, the 4-hour, and the daily, let's say. If I want to trade more than that, then they can go an hour, 15 minutes, 5. So I usually start from the bigger time frame and then go down into execution, because I think there's several steps. Of course, everybody's different, but identifying trends, identifying support, resistance levels, I think that is a little bit easier on the longer time frames, and then you can identify better maybe entry points on shorter time frames.
Great, perfect. So we have here another question, which is really interesting.
Yes.
From Darren Jones.
Yes, please.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Basically, from your analysis just now, how would you convert into a trading idea? So this is a really interesting question. You basically did a macroeconomic rundown, what move markets, indices, commodities, forex, etc. So from that analysis that you just made, how would you start to think about entering a trade? What would be your thought process? If you can briefly run us through it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So every trade is different, but in a way, every trade is the same. So you don't trade because you woke up one day and you thought this trade was going to go well. In a sense, you trade because certain criteria and parameters were met. So let's say, for me, I'm not saying this is how it is, but let's say let's go back to the Ichimoku cloud. Let's say my trading strategy involves several confirmations, one of which being, let's say, the price breaking below the Ichimoku cloud. So I use the news as my general picking. So I have maybe a few markets I trade. Let's say I trade Euro USD, S&P 500, so US 500, oil or gold. So let's say I trade these 3 markets. And you can see that in a way, they're all a little bit correlated. So the US dollar is correlated to the indices. The US dollar is correlated to gold. So in a way, they're all correlated to each other. So news of one can impact multiple, but you can get different things with a few. So, if the dollar goes up, sometimes indices go down. So you have 2 trades in one. If gold goes up, sometimes the dollar goes down, or vice versa. So you have a lot of different correlations that you can start to study, and that can help you identify how the news is relevant. Because I think that's something I talk about in the webinars a lot, is trying to make or help people understand why things affect each other and how they affect each other, so that when you listen to the news and you see that maybe something is happening to the central bank decision, you can understand maybe that's going to have an impact. You don't know exactly how it's going to impact, but you know that it's going to have an impact potentially on certain markets. So once you identify those markets, pick those, then you can go and do technical analysis on them, meet your standards, whichever they may be. It could be a moving average. It could be just your swing trading. So you just want to reach the top and test and come back. So you then have to apply your own strategy onto your analysis. But I believe that basically having a full picture, it can help you make the best decisions when it comes to that.
That's perfect. So having a good, not just fundamental analysis of what's going on in the markets as you started this workshop with, but also then follow your strategy, your technical strategy. And that's something you send every morning in the WhatsApp group chat, for example. Exactly. So that's great. Let's see, a couple of questions. Okay, we have here again, Louis Diab. If you could do a little rundown on crypto and the latest moves.
Okay, we can do a brief rundown on crypto. I don't think we offer them on the UK, but I'm not sure actually. But let's say, so crypto market has been very slow, quite upsetting for many people who have been investing. Today, a slight upward move on Bitcoin. Interesting though, with the fact that with cryptos, usually you have a lot of volatility, which is part of the risk, part of the and excitement about it, part of the incentive to trade. But as with anything, there is upsides and downsides. So we can just take a look at the move that just happened. For example, today we can see over 9% almost in one day. So you have these very big moves. But as far as I can tell, there's a lot of news affecting cryptos these days. It's not as popular as it used to be maybe a few months ago. Um, Indices are doing well. Gold is doing better. There's a lot of factors affecting cryptos, and I'm not saying that this is the end of cryptos absolutely, but the thing is that they go through periods of more interest and lower interest. At the moment, technically, it seems like they're moving sideways. Bitcoin dominance is still pretty high, even though it was going lower and lower towards the last few months. We are seeing that Bitcoin can move multiple other coins. At the same time, we are seeing that a lot of news can move Bitcoin. So whether we had the Elon Musk news a few months ago, where he said he would first then accept Tesla or Bitcoin for Tesla, then he said he wouldn't, then he said other things, and everything would go and impact that. So it's very hard to make predictions when it comes to cryptos. At the moment, though, you can see the upward move heading back into this area. So if you can just kind of see it, visualize it this way, dropping below, actually this side, so dropping below this area, testing 29,000, so the lowest level since June, and then pulling back up. But not really too much to say on cryptos and Bitcoin in particular. It's a very wait and see kind of situation, although even in the wait and see kind of days, you can see that 10% moves or something like that are happening. So I refrain usually from making too many predictions on cryptos, as just it's so volatile from all angles. Once it's more stable, once it's more predictable, then we can do a little bit more. But for the time being, it's a little bit more challenging, I would say.
Thank you, Walid. So we have here another question, which is from Smart Money, the account. Thank you for bringing your question. Hey guys, is on XTB platform the option to invest long-term without expired deposition? So this basically, the maximum holding period we offer for positions will be 365 days, so 1 year. And after that, your position will be automatically closed. So that's the longest you can hold a position. I hope that answers your question. That was a quick one. So another one, any advice for a newish day trader, please, from George Chu. Thank you for your question. So I'll give you a go on this. I will say the first thing you need to do is keep track of markets and start to build your commercial awareness of what's going on. Basically, what Walid just said about indices, central bank policies coming up this week, also how it's affecting oil, gold. So keep track of the markets on a daily basis to begin with. Then to move on more of a practice or how XTB comes in your beginner experience is actually perfect because first of all, you will have an account manager helping you through all your journey. So you can speak with him about, or her in my case, about your goals, your risk profile, and what are you looking to do, and you will get advice from your account manager. Second, you can get advantage of our educational resources. We offer a wide range of courses from trading strategies, how to use the platform, how to place trades properly, etc. So again, if you have any of those questions, you can also ask me now, but you will have all educational resources in the platform in the education tab to expand your knowledge as a beginner. And yeah, I think other than that, start practicing. Again, you can talk with your account manager about it because we offer lower risk ways of starting trading, like micro lots, which basically is the smallest volume we offer to start small, lower risk, and yeah, get your foot in the water or test the waters. So yeah, education, practice, commercial awareness of the markets, and take advantage of your account manager. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Let me see. Darren Jones, another question. Thank you. Would you be able to recommend some reading material to better understand the way the markets affect each other? So reading material, there's quite a lot of good books, but XTB actually offers a lot of good materials to do with all the markets and all the different products we offer, whether you're interested in Forex, indices, stocks, commodities. So again, the education tab in the platform contains all those courses. If you're a real account holder, you have access to all of them. So that's more in depth. And also your account manager will be able to send you an ebook or a trading package ebook in PDF version about the single product that you perhaps are interested in. So in terms of resources and reading materials, that will be what I would recommend. The way that markets affect each other, again, that's something Wally was mentioning before about correlation. So yes, if you would like to ask a more specific question on correlation between two specific markets, please feel free and we can go deeper into that. Okay, another question from Saf Dimahomet. Thank you for your question. Will you be able to explain the theory of trading gaps, please? Yes, sure. So I'm going to give it a go, and perhaps Wallet will have to add to this. So trading gaps, as far as I know, happened overnight when the market closes and then it opens again, and some sort of market event has happened, let's say on the weekend while markets were closed, and you can see, for example, a gap up if something that affects that specific market has happened. For example, with indices, let's say, if the variant, the COVID variant, were to spread, more risk will be implied, and perhaps you will see a gap down in indices. Walid, would you like to add something to that or show a bit?
Yeah, I mean, I was just as you were saying that, I was showing on the charts on oil just a small example of a gap. Trading gaps, yeah, as you mentioned, happened when there is basically a market close or some major move. We saw those. They used to happen a lot more with Trump in as president, because sometimes what had happened is he would do something on the Friday, which would then impact the markets over the weekend, and then on Monday they would open with a gap, whether up or down. Trading gaps is that. Trading them is actually something that's, I would say, is not advisable for most people, in the fact that anyway, on markets where positions are closed overnight or something like that, or markets are closed overnight, it's very hard to account for the gap, and sometimes you can get stopped out. You can get, you can make more money if it goes your way, of course, but you can also get stopped out if it doesn't. So that's the problem. Interesting things in markets that happen, of course, that can provoke them, but always unpredictable, or most of the time unpredictable, I would say.
Perfect. Yes. So let's see.
One thing, I would like to just add one thing to the correlation thing that we were talking about earlier, just as a resource for the person who asked. Of course, thank you for your question. On the platform, this is not a resource in itself, but you can have multiple charts on at the same time. And so I do that, for example, with Euro and Euro USD, and the US dollar index is one of the most, the ones I use it the most on, let's say. And you can see the correlation, if you want to say it that way, between the US dollar index and the movements of the Euro USD. It almost looks quite symmetrical. And that's the interesting thing. So it doesn't mean that they are, but it just means that if you look at them, they look like they are. And that can help you determine certain things. So for me, why do I use it on Euro USD? If the US dollar index is moving up, it means that the US dollar is strong. It could mean that Euro is still strong, but the dollar is just outperforming it. If they're both, let's say if the Euro USD is moving down and the US dollar index is moving up, then Euro is weak and the US dollar is strong. So this is a little tool that you can use for your own research of correlations and kind of see what you find in a way.
Yes, great. I was going to ask you after about correlations, so that's great. About currencies. Actually, Darren Jones said some pairs tend to move better than others on a particular day, so that hopefully answers your question or your comment. Let me see. What's your commission and spread? So Ioanni Diab asked about commission and spreads. Thank you for your question. What's your commission and what's your spread? So it depends on the product that you're looking to trade, because some of them just charge a spread and some of them charge the spread plus the commission. So let's say if you're looking to trade Forex, you will be charged the spread, which is the difference between the market spread and the XTB spread. So we offer quite low spreads as a broker. So that will be, for example, FX. And then for stocks, single stocks, you will be charged a certain commission, which is 0.08%. All of this is again disclosed in our website, in the case you would like to see it on a table, but I hope that answers your question. And then we have the cost of overnight financing, which is called a daily swap, which happens with particular products, again, like single stocks, for example, and it doesn't, like Forex, and it doesn't happen, for example, in indices and commodities, the overnight cost of trading. So yes, I hope that answers your question on spreads, commission, and daily swaps. So yes. Darren Jones, I've never been sure if we're allowed to speak with our account manager inside WhatsApp. So no, the WhatsApp group chat is not meant for communication with your account managers. It's a WhatsApp group chat meant for account holders, real account holders, and Wallet, the market analysis with us today here. He runs it and he sends every morning a market briefing and also technical analysis, some trade recommendations, and what's happening in the market. So that's really useful, and that's why we have the WhatsApp group chat. Now, in order to communicate with your account manager, probably he or her has been in touch with you already via email or via phone, and that's the two ways of communication, by calls and by emails. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. Let's wait for some more questions, but I will ask you perhaps a question myself, Walid.
Please.
You already mentioned the news tab we have in the platform, and you actually mentioned that is really critical this week, central bank policies. So perhaps if you could show the tab open and how they can read the breaking news, and where does it say what product affects, a bit of.
Of course. So as part of the news section of the website and of the platform, we keep you up to date throughout the day, as well as with the WhatsApp. So when these events are happening, you'll receive news even the day before or before events, key events. So just have to go on the news section of the platform, and you can see actually today we had a market alert on what to expect from the ECB, so the European Central Bank. And this, if you're a client or an account holder, you will receive this notification as well. And you can see all the news you need to. So basically, overview is that tomorrow there is a decision by the European Central Bank. Interest rates are expected to be left unchanged. However, things are less obvious when it comes to asset purchases. So you'll have a whole analysis, as well as what are the key things to keep an eye on in tomorrow's decision. So which would be the inflation goal and the forward guidance. And we explain those as well. And then we're also going to explain what the market reaction to certain things has been and what the markets that are affected would be. So in this case, you can see while the ECB did not offer much hint in the change of direction forward guidance, seem to be sure that it will be a dovish tilt, which means an accommodating tilt. Euro USD is the main one I mentioned, of course, EU indices as well. But that is something that you'll learn with experience, in addition to this kind of content, which will help you identify what certain markets are going to be affected. In the same event, you have something else here, for example, with breaking news on oil stocks in the US today. As I mentioned, they were higher than expected. And you can see here, we also show you the chart with the move and impact happening on the market as it's happening. And once you see this once or twice, you'll be able to identify this for yourself as well. and you'll be able to make the most of the news as it's coming for the next one as well. So of course, as she mentioned, as Carolina mentioned, we have recommendations from famous banks. We have recommendations from us, and we also have the all the news that I mentioned, along with the breaking news as it happens.
Great. So yes, as Walid said, both the news tab in the platform will allow you to follow what's going to happen in markets for the week and for the next day as well as having the WhatsApp group chat. You can ask your account manager to send you through the invitation for it. I'm not sure if I have some of my clients here, but yeah, that would be the way. Darren Jones, thank you for your question. Can we speak with Walid in the WhatsApp? I'm not sure. I don't think so.
No, so the WhatsApp group is a one-way broadcast in the sense that I write something and I take the the analysis, and it's posted and sent to everybody in the chat. So it's not like we're all in the same chat. It's just I'm broadcasting it to everybody, and it's just one-way communication. If you'd like to, let's say, speak to me in the best way possible, would be in these kinds of events. So when we do these events, or when I'm doing webinars, or when I'm doing certain videos, that they're live, you can come and join and ask me the questions you'd like to ask me, and I'll try my best to answer them on the spot. And that's the best way. Otherwise, if there's something else that somebody else can help you with, then as Carolina mentioned, that you can contact an account manager by phone or email, and they'll get back to you as soon as possible. But as far as the WhatsApp group, it's just a one-way thing that you can get added to by your account manager, and then you'll start receiving some updates as the days go by.
Exactly. So yeah, you can have tailored advice for yourself as a trader, whether you're a beginner or an expert or an intermediate, by your account manager. So you can have a call with them, say what are your goals, what markets are you focused on, perhaps what is your initial approximate amount of deposit you're going to start with, what risk you wish to take. Perhaps you will be able to comment and discuss with your account manager about the market moves, how they are correlated between different markets, and what is your best strategy based on your profile. So tailored advice from account managers, really useful. Ioani Diab, again, thank you for your question. Walid, do you use Bollinger Bands in your technical analysis? If yes, which setup do you recommend? Thanks again for your professionalism.
Oh, well, thank you for the question and thank you for the compliment. I think it's both of us doing our best, let's say. So Bollinger Bands, very interesting indicator. It's very it's used a lot. I don't tend to use it that much. It's just preference. I use other indicators, I would say. But as a setup, let's say, I'll show you also how to add indicators on the chart, just in case somebody doesn't know. So this is just a Euro GBP chart. Let's take something a little bit more interesting. Let's take WTI, which we were talking about right now, and I'll take every indicator off. So this is how the chart looks by itself. And let's add Bollinger Bands. You have to go to the left-hand side of the platform. Just type in, well, you can type in BB, and then it'll be Bollinger Bands. I usually leave it at the standard 20 period. And in a way, you can see that it sets up quite well. I never use it individually. I would use it in a combination with a few other things. But definitely a very interesting indicator that I think is very commonly used by a lot of people in different markets. Personally, I don't use it that much, as I said, but definitely, nonetheless, one of the most important ones that have been made. And of course, John Bollinger, a very, very famous trader as well. So I'm not sure exactly how the trading setup would go on this because I don't use it as much, but I would use it as a confirmation for my other trades. So let's say if the price were to go below the lower band, then I would take that as a certain signal. And if it were to go above the higher band, then I would take it as another. Whether in the middle, it's still the same thing as any other moving average. But as soon as it starts to deviate, that's when it gets interesting. Same with the RSI. It's very subjective, I think, in the sense that people think the RSI, which is the relative strength index, is just a, let's say, overbought, oversold indicator, which at the moment would be very overbought or quite overbought. But sometimes, things can change on the way you see them. And I think the same goes for the Bollinger Bands as well. So
Great. Thank you, Walid.
thanks.
Okay, we're conscious of time, so I'm gonna try. I have here two more questions, which I'm gonna try to answer myself.
Okay.
And then, unless there's any more interesting questions in here, I think we've answered pretty much all of them. So let's go first. Shaf, thank you for your question. I sometimes do chart analysis on TradingView, and there are difference between the prices of indices on XTB versus TradingView, for example, on the DAX. Why would that be? Trading between the prices. So, and then you add, it's only 10 pips, but curious why there's a difference. So I'm guessing you're talking about the difference in pips. So pip is the smallest movement of a market, the smallest percentage movement of a particular market. So I'm not aware of the pips that other brokers offer, but the difference, I think it could be on the size of the broker itself. So smaller brokers have a higher price variance, and bigger brokers have a smaller price variance. So perhaps that's the difference between the pips between one broker and the other. I'm not sure if Wallet wants to add something about this,
No, you
but
said it. You said it right. It's TradingView is going to take their reading as well from another broker or from some sort of an institution. So there sometimes is slight variation, but it's futures, so it's not even the spot usually. So it doesn't matter that much in the sense that when you go in trade, your analysis will be correct on the chart that you're trading on. So let's say if you're using the XTB chart and you make your analysis on that, then it will be correct on that chart.
okay. So his Shaf, no, I meant DAX now is showing as 15,000 on XTB, 15,423, and in TradingView is 1500 for 15,435. So the difference in actual price, live price, is what you meant. Sorry if I wasn't clear. No problem. And I'm not 100% sure. So I'm not sure if Wallet.
As we said, I mean, it could be, let's say, as I said, every broker can have a slightly different approach to that because it could be, or it could be that you're looking at the spot, which we don't have. So if it's that, then it's completely different. If it's a different broker, then it could be that. So it could be those two different things. I would say either you're looking at the spot market, which would be different, or you're looking at the a different broker, which also could be slightly different. But as you can see, it's 10 pips with 1 pip. As you can, so this is 35. So like it's basically this much of a difference. I'll show you on the chart here. It's basically this much of a difference. I don't even know if you can see it, but it's this much of 10 pips. So it can be accounted for with a different broker, or it could be the spot price, which we do not offer at the moment.
Perfect. I hope that clarifies. So yes, as Wallet said, or difference in broker or difference in the product, whether it's a spot or future. So I hope that answers your question. We're almost at the end. So a question from Ademola. Thank you for your question. Please, how can I be added to the WhatsApp group chat? Right, account manager, thanks. Thanks for your question. So again, you probably, if you're a real account holder, you will have been contacted already by your account manager via call or email. So you could just ask them, please, can I be invited to the WhatsApp group chat? And there will be no problem. You will receive an invitation on that same day. So that's the way to go about that. Thanks so much. Thank you, everyone that has been attended. Iowa Diab, sorry for my pronunciation. Sorry, last question. Is XTB ECN/STP or market maker? So we are not a market maker. I'm not sure if, correct me if I'm wrong, but we provide trading and market services. So
You're
I don't want
correct.
to say,
You're correct.
yeah, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
good, good.
yeah.
So
Our
we
provider
don't.
is like the liquidity provider would be, but as XTB UK, no.
Exactly. So we do provide liquidity in markets and the services and products for you to trade, but we don't create markets and we're not defined as a market maker. We are a CFD provider. So I hope that answers your question. Um, I think that will be it for today. Thank you for everyone that has been involved. I'm gonna proceed to Yes. So I'm going to proceed to wrap this workshop up. Thank you everyone for all your questions. It's been really active, which we like. And please remember, we're doing this on a weekly basis. So every Wednesday at 5:45 UK time, we will be here, same place, same time, with different speakers each week, and with Wallet, our market analyst, again doing a rundown of markets and technical analysis. So that's that. Now, if you have further questions, as I mentioned before, please contact your account manager and they will be able to solve all your queries. And also, if you're looking to learn more, as I said, we provide educational resources, whether it's in the XTB website or on your platform. You have all the courses in the education tab. And yeah, on that, with account manager, the WhatsApp group chat, and the education courses, you should be
Yeah.
good to go. Um, so,
No, I'd like to
yes,
thank everybody as well for being here today, and thank you for all the questions. Thank you, Carolina, for your questions and hosting this event as well. Yeah, as she mentioned, we provide as much as we can to give you between these events. I do 2 videos a week on the YouTube channel, which are on Monday and Friday, which you can watch the market overview, as well as she mentioned, the webinars, the news section, the education, and everything like that. So if you did enjoy it, please feel free to leave a like. Subscribe to the channel. There's always more content coming. And anything else, I would say I agree with her. Contact your account manager; they'll be able to help you for sure.
great. Thank you, everyone that is commenting. Thank you, Wallet.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So I guess we can end it here then. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good luck with your trading. Hopefully, this was useful and helpful. And yeah, see you at the next one. Thank you.
See you, everyone. Thanks.